Everybody, welcome. I'm Deanna Fenton, and this is this week's episode of Simple Steps to Online Success. And I want to introduce to you Melanie Tveti. Today, we're going to talk about all things branding because Melanie has a lot of background and information on this topic.
Branding is actually really the heart and soul of your business. So it's more than most people, like you said, think of it to be like the colors, the logos, the images, fonts, the visual side, and then also putting it in like on your website, like how it's implemented. That is how most people think of how branding is. Or really branding is so much more. Like I say, it's really the heart and soul. And it's really three pieces. The one that is really the foundation piece that I am really wanting to focus on is more of your brand voice, which is more of your visions, your beliefs, your personality, your story, your the vision that you have. There's so much more in there, but it's more the voice and the foundation pieces that you need in order to actually build the colors, to build the logos, to implement it onto your website or onto your page. And so that is, like I say, it's really heart and soul. And when you think of what a brand is, I actually had to I struggled with this for the longest time. Honestly, I did. And I actually had to come and figure out that it's actually 7 things. So what it is, I say a brand is what your customers say who they are. It's how your customers relate to your story, vision, and beliefs. It's how your customers feel what they see, hear, feel, taste, smell, and use your products or services. I have to incorporate everything.
Taste and smell?
Well, if you are in the food industry, taste and smell makes sense. So number 4 is the experience and perceived value, as well as the associations that you're making with the product or service. Number 5 is what makes your makes your customers pick you over somebody else, because they have they're associated with you. They're drawn towards you. And that's what comes up to number 6 is it keeps your customers keep coming back to you each and every time. And then number 7 is the glue that makes your marketing stick. So it's really that piece that you can market, and it's your, like I said, your foundation and that framework that when you put a brand together of the voice, visuals, as well as your visibility and your marketing pieces, when you put that all together, you now have a framework on how you're going to implement, how you want to be perceived in the world, how you want your customers to say who you are.
Recently, I had a person that knew me, but had never worked with me. And she was looking for assistance in her business. And she went on my website and she told me, I love your website because when I land on it, it felt so serene. It made me feel calm. It made me feel, and I was like, wow. I mean, unconsciously, it did that. I never had that in mind. But for what I do, that's a great feeling for someone to have.
Exactly. And it's one where it might not be something that you think about, but yet in your subconscious, you actually, by the colors you chose and how you're portraying yourself, what you're doing and the words you're using, all of that together gave her that feel. And so even though you might not have articulated something particularly, you obviously did it really well because you got the response that you wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they would have said that, they probably wouldn't have actually told you. But if they would have told you that, yeah, it just seems a little too harsh or brass or a little too not as warm and loving, but more ruler, more dictator, like I'm the authority, versus that would be a different feel.
Yeah.
And if that's not the feeling you're going for, we got to change something.